All right, we are now recording. So I was telling Colton and Savannah, Unique and McKenna before you got here, that we are going to go over a little book project that we're going to do between now and Christmas break. And we're going to talk about um, a lesson that we're going to work through about the Telltale Heart. I don't know if you've ever read that or heard of that by Edgar Allan Poe. But it's a pretty cool book, I think. I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff. But let me share my screen. All right, can somebody unmute and tell me when that pops up?
It popped up.
It popped up? All right. So we're going to talk about a creative project based on your choice of book that you are reading or have read. So you can pick out any book that you want. It doesn't matter what it is, just you have to pick it. You can either pick one that you've already read or pick one that you want to read going forward to do the project. And I'm going to give you several options, 15 options in fact, to do a project based on that book. And we're going to go through those options today first. And then, like I said, I'll tell you what we're going to do moving forward. But the first option, and remember, you can pick any of these. It doesn't have to be a specific one. It's whatever you're most comfortable doing, whatever you think you'd have the most fun with. So the first option is you can do a soundtrack on the book. So you can select music to accompany different scenes or themes from the novel, and you can explain why each song represents that particular scene. So these particulars under here, I'm going to change these, but I will post this on Google Classroom so you can see it and read through it later on. But these a minimum of 5 songs and all that, I'm going to change these numbers. So don't pay attention to those right now. So a second option, bring some perspective. You can write a story explaining various plot events from a character other than the protagonist of the story. The protagonist of a story is the main character or the hero in the story. So you can use this opportunity to illuminate what may have been going on in the text under the surface. So talk about how the character maybe is feeling. Something you're not reading in the book necessarily directly, but just an idea under the surface that you think you can take from the book. Number 3, persuade a character. You can write a letter to one of the characters in the book, persuading him or her to change a decision that character made in the book. You can explain what would be different if a different decision was made by that character. So write a letter to a character, trying to persuade that character to make a different decision other than the one that was made in the book, and then explain why you think they should make that decision. Again, don't pay attention to these numbers yet. I'm going to change those. So option number 4 would be a photography option. You can create a series of photos and include a paragraph underneath each picture explaining one of the following concepts. How does it relate to the scene in the novel? How does it relate to a character in the novel? Or how does it relate to a theme in the novel? So pick a few pictures out and write a paragraph about how it relates to one of those items in the novel. You can write a character letter. So many characters in the novel have complex relationships. You can write a letter between 2 characters. So from one character to another, as if you were those characters. Another option is you can design a game that reflects one of the themes of the novel. So it can be a board game. You don't have to make this, but you can just design it and describe it. It can be some type of board game, a video game, or you can create your own type of game that reflects the theme of the novel, but it has to be playable. So something that if we were to make it, we could sit down and play it either on video or say like a board game, chess or something like that. So another option would be a relationship collage. So this could be several different pictures or a few lines or words from the novel that reflect a significant web of relationships. So think of a spider web with one of the photos in the middle and then drawing lines out to how that relates to, say, parents in the novel, marriage, brothers and sisters, or friends. And consider about those relationships what is most striking from the novel and what role they play. So you can create a big, large collage or a series of smaller collages that depict an interesting aspect of the novel. But just think of it in terms of, you know, father to daughter, mother to son, or brother to sister, or husband to wife, or friend to friend. To consider how those relationships are reflected in the novel. Morning, Therese. All right, another option is you can do an advice column. So you choose a character from the novel and then think about, embody their voice or pretend that you're that character and write an advice column. Try to mimic the author's style and the message. So try to mimic that character when you're writing that advice column to somebody based on how you think that character feels and how that character would present that advice. So another option would be you can write a monologue from a character, which basically is just a speech from that character. So you can write about what do you think is going on in the mind of that character that you might not hear in the story. So it has to be believable. It has to be based on the character and its his or her characteristics in the novel and how that character thinks, and just provide some insight into what you think that character's life is like beyond what you're reading there in the novel. So next, report the news. So select some type of news media format, whether that can be radio, TV, newspaper, whatever you think, social media, and create a report about an event that happened in the novel. So basically, you're just writing a news story about some event that happened in a scene in the novel, and you're just reporting it like you were a reporter in the news.
Mr. C.
Yeah. What's up?
Mr. C.
What's up?
I can't see, but hear you with good morning. It's kind of my internet's going slow, so that's what.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say you're breaking up a little bit, so if you need to, you can go back. I'm recording this and I'm gonna post it, and you can go back and watch it later if you need to. And I'm gonna post this aside. Can you hear me at all?
I don't. You're gonna post this video?
Yes, I'm gonna post the video.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I can't see or hear. So you're gonna post it. So if I needed to leave, I can.
Yes, if your computer's messing up, your internet's not working, you can go and just watch this video later if you need to. I'll keep going and explain the different options.
Okay, see you later.
All right. All right, so our next option, number 11 here, says highly symbolic. So many times authors use symbolism in a text to reinforce their message. So find a visual and creative way to trace several symbols from the novel. So in other words, talk about some of the symbols that the author uses that you think the author may use in the novel, and just write a description about how they play a role in the novel. All right, next, missing chapter. So you'll write a quote unquote missing chapter from absent scenes within the plot of the novel. So just write another chapter basically about things that you think would have gone on in the novel that aren't necessarily there, but something, just be creative with it if you want to. All right. Next, you can teach a lesson. So you can select a passage from the novel and really read it closely and then annotate and analyze it. And you can prepare a lesson as if you were going to teach it to a class to help us better understand that passage in the novel. All right, 14, art. So you can create a piece of art that reflects a specific theme from the novel. So basically, you can draw a picture, create a video, create some kind of digital graphic, whatever you want to do. Just a piece of art drawing drawing something that you think reflects the theme from that novel. Okay? So just drawing, say, if a character is really brave or strong or something like that, you can draw a picture of that character and explain why you drew that picture and what the picture is saying about that character. And then lastly, you can come up with something on your own, just some creative idea. If you don't think anything in this list is something you would want to do, and you've got something else in mind that you would like to do, then you can do that. You can just let me know beforehand what you're going to do, and then we'll go from there. But if you've got something creative to do on your own, we can talk about that, and then more than likely you can do that. So that is our book project. And again, I'm going to post this video so you can go back through and listen to my description of them, if that helps. I'm going to post that document so you can read through it. And you don't have to do all of those. I know that was a lot. You only need to do one. So pick one to do over either a novel that you want to read or a novel or a book that you've already read. So let me know if you have any questions about that, and we can go from there. But again, just pick a novel you've read or going to read and pick one of those ways to do the project, and let me know. So I'm also going to post a little Google form that you can fill out to let me know what book you've chosen and what project you're going to do. And I will post that later on as well. But moving forward, as I mentioned, we're going to read The Telltale Heart together. I don't know if anybody has ever read that, but it's a little short story by Edgar Allan Poe, and I think it's pretty cool. But we'll go through that. We'll start reading that on Thursday and get going with that lesson. So, does anybody have any questions? All right, Unique says no. Colton, do you have any questions? Apparently you and Unique are the only two left.
No.
All right. Well, that is all we have today. I will post this video and the assignment on Google Classroom, and you all can get started on that, and I will see you all later.